Welcome everyone to the reconstituted Pedestrian Council. Sorry for all the technical difficulty. We will, oh, there I am. We will, we'll get this figured out, but we do have a lot of members of the public that are on virtually and several of the committee members. So again, thank you all for being here. So we are happy to have the council back up and running. It has been dormant, I would say, since 2020. It was a very active council between 2016 and 2020. And then, we went dormant there for a while. The Joint Sunset Committee actually began reviewing the Pedestrian Council and looking at the makeup of it, the goals, the kind of what the charge of the council was, and made recommendations to the members of the General Assembly, and it ended up being formed into a bill. And last session, the General Assembly passed legislation to reconstitute the Pedestrian Council, codify it into state code, and then revamp the membership and also look at the scope of the responsibilities of the council, which I know our staff is going to go through here in just a minute. I do want to thank the previous members of the council because a lot of work and time went into that, and a lot was accomplished over the course of those years that the council was very active. The council advised us on our complete streets policy, our bus stop policy, on looking at how we were reporting crash data, helped us with a lot of pedestrian awareness and education. And so we really do appreciate everything that went into the work of the previous council. With this new council that's now being reconstituted, the makeup of the membership has changed in a way that now we have representatives from each of the 3 counties, as well as from the large municipalities and legal local governments. So this really will kind of change the focus and help us continue to strengthen that partnership between the land use decisions that are being made and the transportation network to make sure that we are being multimodal and encompassing all modes of transportation and taking all that into consideration. So really excited to see what will happen from this council and the recommendations and the work that you're going to put in. I will say normally I start all my presentations with a slide that shows our roadway fatality numbers of where we are, but I know that the staff is going to talk about that in a little bit, so I won't steal their thunder. But if you have heard me speak over the last 2 years, I talk about this all the time, and the number of roadway fatalities that we have seen across all modes has gone up over several years. 2022 was one of the deadliest years that we ever had, with 165 fatalities. We are thankful that last year we saw a decline across the board with our roadway fatalities. So overall, we saw about I believe it's a 16% reduction in fatalities. We ended the year at 137, but we also saw a 13% reduction in pedestrian fatalities. We have a lot of work still ahead of us to do because we want to get those numbers down even further. So collectively working together, we need everyone's help to help us achieve that. So again, I just thank you to the staff that has put a lot of time and effort into all of our efforts from a pedestrian safety, active transportation standpoint. The team will be going through a lot of what the department has been doing over the past few years to strengthen our pedestrian network and safety. And so with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Right, so,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging in there.
Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Old school. We were old school in it.
Touch anybody.
I'm not touching anything.
Hi, everyone. Once again, my name is Kelly Valensig, and I'm a planner in DelDOT's Division of Planning and in the Active Transportation and Community Connection section. And I will be the administrative assistant for the Pedestrian Council. So if you have any questions or concerns about what we're doing in our meetings, I will be the point of contact. So please send me an email or feel free to give me a call. I think my cell phone number is on some of the emails that I sent out previously. So first of all, thank you for hanging in there with our technical issues today. We are going to work really hard to get those fixed for next time. But I also want to take the time to thank you for attending and making time for the council. This is a really important issue. Pedestrian safety is one of our top priority. One of our top priorities. We have a lot of top safety priorities here. And we really appreciate your time here today. At some point in your day or some point in your lifetime, everybody's a pedestrian at some point, and we all deserve to be able to get to the places that we want to go, whether it's work, school, education, or the park, to walk your dog safely. So that's why we're here to prioritize the things that we're doing in DelDOT to address those concerns. I think we have a wonderful group here that has a lot of knowledge, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know everybody and know more about your background and hear more about your expertise. So we're going to start the day with doing some rounds of introductions, and I'm going to take a roll call as we do that. It was supposed to be two separate things, but I think I'm just going to go with the flow here and move right along. So if I call out your name, why don't you go ahead, and I don't know if I'm on the right slide here. I can't get this one.
I got that.
Thank you so much. Oh, should I go up to the lectern? Maybe that would be better.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't. Can you advance the slide?
How do I move the slide?
Yep.
I got it.
There we go.
All right.
There we go.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to briefly share your name, what your role is on the council, and maybe very quickly, under a minute, like one thing that you hope to achieve. So I'll call names out. And if you're here, let me know, or if you're serving as somebody's alternate, I know that's a situation for a couple of the positions as well. Just let me know whether that's for today or if that's going to be ongoing, that you'll be the alternate for that person.
And just an FYI, hi,
there
my
you
name is Pam Steinbach, Director of Planning for DelDOT. If, like us, you are having technical issues, if you could please, if we do call you and you can't hear or you can't unmute, please just include this information on the slide in the chat. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. So first of all, we have as our first member, Nicole Bajeski, who is the Secretary of DelDOT, and I believe we have an alternate. So
Maureen Kelly, I'm the Deputy Director of Design for DelDOT, and I don't know the whole process that we're going to do later on, but I think
You'll
not
be
quite sure what my role is
Yeah.
going to be.
you will be acting right now. You will be acting as Nicole's assigned person, so she has officially assigned you in that role. So you can make votes and calls and stuff for her.
Excellent. I got the power. Basically, one of the main reasons, probably why she has me as her proxy in this or whatever alternate, is because I can influence a lot of different sections and for the design part of it to incorporate some of the initiatives that might come out of here. So, for example, you know, one of our team members, Peter Haig's here, and he deals a lot with the vulnerable road users, and so working with him and his program will help us be able to forward some of the initiatives that probably come out of here.
Great, thank you. The next person I have on my list is Daniel McQueen, and he is the Secretary of the Office of Highway Safety, and I believe there is an alternate for him. Do you have that person present?
It's not online. Sharon Bryson.
Sharon Bryson.
I didn't think he joined. Sharon Bryson, I'm the Director for the Office of Highway Safety.
Thank you. And
Thanks for being here.
can you just say a brief word about the role of the Office of Highway Safety on the council?
Yes, we do a significant amount of work in pedestrian safety through mobilizations, grant funding, education, behavioral changes, especially with vulnerable populations. So really, we want to see the pedestrian community more well educated so that there are less fatalities in pedestrian. This year alone, we started out with too many in the month of January. So.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Our next person is Benjamin Schrader. He was not able to attend today. There is a conference on disabilities going on actually today. So he's over at that, but he will be representing the State Council for Persons with Disabilities. So we'll look forward to meeting him at the next meeting.
Kelly,
And then we have
Kelly?
Nicole.
Yeah, excuse me,
I'm Tom
Kelly.
Nickel, I'm DelDOT's 88 Title II coordinator. And I hope to help guide the department in decisions to deal with accessibility and inclusivity.
Thank you. The next person that I have on my list is Kara Copel with the Department of State. And Kara, I believe you're online. So if you're able to just put in the chat somewhere.
Can you
a
hear
little
me?
Brief intro, maybe we'll see if we can get that to pop up here.
Okay.
It'll show on the screen.
I
Kelly?
think we're gonna have the same problem that Linda had with the speaker.
Yeah, Kelly?
Because I can't hear. Maria, can you hear Kara?
So,
Like,
Can
hi,
you hear
folks.
me?
Hi, folks. For those.
Very quietly, very faintly.
So for those of us that are online, the room, it's really hard for them to hear us. So if we want to communicate to the room, we should just put it in the chat. And so they can monitor that until they can get the audio a little bit louder into the Farmington Bell room. Sorry about that.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, it is extremely low on the participants virtually. So my apologies, I don't know how, I've tried multiple times to increase the volume, and it's just not happening. So if there's any possible way, my apologies, if there's any way to add your information into the chat, we would be much appreciative. We promise we won't be in this room for the next council meeting. We will go back to our Delaware room, which we know how to do, like the back of our hand.
Just had a note from the chat, just so you know, please let the conference room folks know that the side conversations can be heard and interfere with the main person talking. So just fairly sensitive hot mics at the center of the room here.
Hi, this is
well-
Kara Colpo. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi there. So my chat's disabled, so I wasn't able to enter in my
Oh,
information.
no.
in the
Can
chat.
somebody elevate Kara as a panelist? I don't know if anybody has that.
Nobody has
Nobody
that.
has that. Okay.
Can you use the Q&A?
Can you use the Q&A?
Let me see. Oh, let me try there.
Okay.
We can hear.
All
We
right,
can
but
hear.
Kara's here, so I'm going to keep moving forward. And Kara, just if you want to do a brief intro in the Q&A, we'll share that, or we'll send out intros later if you want to share something more with the group. So next person on my list is John Sisson.
Good afternoon. I'm John Sisson. I'm the CEO of Delaware Transit Corporation. As you can imagine, every one of my bus customers is a pedestrian using transit. So I'm hopeful to continue to see the improvements that we've been making and continue to make improvements to the pedestrian network, so everyone has safe and reliable ways to get around the state of Delaware.
Thank you. All right, our next folks on the list was from Newcastle County. I think someone's online.
Hi, yes.
Do you have
Hi,
somebody from Newcastle County online?
yes. I'm Michael Smith. I believe I'm the representative or the resident representative from Newcastle County. Again, Michael Smith. Hope that we can achieve a future where our students, can feel comfortable walking and riding their bike to school, and we have more walkable neighborhoods where you can get everything you need within a short time span. I'm really glad to be on the call. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks.
And we'll have you, if you're online, we'll try to have you reintroduce yourself at the next meeting too, so everybody can hear you. Put a face with the name, because we can't see your faces here in the room unless we're on the laptop. So, great, thank you. The other Newcastle County position was a representative from the county government too. So I don't know if we've had anyone on there. I believe, I'm trying to look through here.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me, but this is Anthony Sikowski with Newcastle County Government.
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. Representing Char Padabanda, General Manager of the Department of Land Use. And like everyone else, looking forward to working with the group and committee and continue our coordination with DELDOT through the land development review process and our pathway programs. So thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anthony.
All right, next role is City of Wilmington. We have Jeffrey Starkey, and I believe I saw you online.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's quiet, but we can hear you.
Okay, I'll put something in the chat as well. Good afternoon, my name is Jeff Starkey. I'm the Director of Land Use and Planning for the City of Wilmington. And my role will be to learn and to improve pedestrian movement throughout the City of Wilmington. So that's what I'm here for. I may have a representative on the next meeting. I just want to attend this one, so I got a feel for it. And this is my first one, so.
Alrighty. That sounds good. Yeah, let me know if there's another contact we should send the emails to as well, and feel free
will.
to, figure
I
out
will.
who wants to
Thank
be
you.
here and just let me know who I should be in touch with. But thank you for joining this afternoon, bearing with us. Okay, next role we have is Kent County, and Sarah Kiefer, I believe, is the person, and the alternate would be Chris Connolly.
There he
Oh,
is.
there's Chris in the chat. Thank you, Chris. When we could have you introduce yourself at the next meeting too, live, so we can hear better. All right. And then our next county representative is Sussex County Government. And I believe that they had a whole lineup of county council meetings today, so they were not able to join us. But the main representative will be Jamie Whitehouse, and if not, it will be Christian Scott, I believe. So hopefully we'll see them at the next meeting. The next one on my list is Dr. Kevin Spence with the Delaware League of Local Governments.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, it's just quiet. Thank you.
Oh, good, wonderful. Yeah, my name's Kevin Spence. I'm the Executive Director of the Delaware League of Local Governments. What I recommend to the Executive Committee, the Legislative Advocacy Committee, and members at large, the policies that affect local government. I'm looking forward to promoting pedestrian and bike safety through my understanding of the council and its issues. And I'm equipped to help get out messages, grant opportunities, and other missives to all our members of the state's 57 municipalities and counties.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, now the next few folks are folks that have been appointed by the governor. So Lloyd Schmitz, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you. My name is Lloyd Schmitz. I'm a member of the State Council for Persons with Disabilities. I also sit on the Governor's Advisory Council on the Blind. I'm looking forward to this council getting it done.
Thank you. Thanks for
Lloyd.
attending. Next is William Giron. I don't know if they're on today. Don't see them. And then Omar Noor will be on the group as well. And I don't see, Omar, are you on? See his name.
Yes, I am. I'm coming in actually.
Do you want to give a little introduction about yourself?
Can I wait till I get inside?
Oh, sure, absolutely. All right, we'll see you soon. Okay, we do next minute. Brian Goff.
Good afternoon. Brian Goff. I'm a resident of Kent County and a business sector rep. I currently work for Chesapeake Utilities, where I help manage the corporation's environmental affairs and sustainability efforts. And I think that's what kind of interests me with the council. I know it plays a crucial role in sustainability efforts, and it, by promoting walking, quite frankly, safely walking, aligned with broader sustainability efforts, supports healthier communities, and it reduces the environmental impact from vehicular transportation. So there's a crossover I'm interested in there.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
And then next on the list is Bill Payne from Sussex County. Bill, are you on? Didn't see his name. All right. We'll go back to Omar, who just walked in, if you want to.
Yes. So my name is Omar. So do I just give what I do?
Yes, sorry, if you just want to share your name and your role in the council.
I don't even know
Or what you
role is.
Okay.
You were one of the governor's appointees, so that's a very special thing. And then if you just want to share what you'd like to help out with or achieve on the council.
Just to make it better, I guess.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you.
All right, well, I think we've gone through the list here. So we do have a quorum based on everyone that's attended today. So thank you all for hanging in there. And can I advance the slide here? Oh, yeah, thank you, Andy. I was like, how do I make it work? Okay, so We want to also thank you all for responding to the council member survey. We were just looking for a bit of background information to see what, everybody had experience in or wanted to know more about. And just wanted to share that back out with you about what we learned from that survey, just a little snippet of that. There were some more statistics that came from that. But overall, the biggest thing that everyone wanted to learn more about when we have these meetings is pedestrian safety statistics and where we're standing with that and how the trends are going. So we're definitely going to be covering that today, and we'll have updates on statistics quarterly from our traffic folks. So we'll be able to share that with you. And if you do have follow-up questions or need more information about that, we can certainly reach out to our partners here in DelDOT and get that information to you as well. Other things that folks wanted to hear about was how we coordinate with local governments, what we're doing to count pedestrians and collect data for where pedestrians are going and how they're moving about the state. Also information about how to get grants and funding sources to help with pedestrian safety issues, what the ADA accessibility guidelines are, what we currently have on for policies, standards, and guidelines for what we're doing for pedestrian safety. Also what our public education strategies have been and what kinds of outreach we've done. And then that other comment, I believe, was what else is going on the national level, what other states are doing about pedestrian safety too. So, all right. I'm going to turn the microphone over to Peter. He's with our traffic section. Why don't you introduce yourself and you'll cover some of the slides on the traffic statistics that we have here.
Sure. So good afternoon. My name is Peter Haig. I'm DelDOT's Chief of Traffic Engineering. So the traffic engineering section is responsible for analyzing and reviewing the crash statistics, as well as the publishing of our strategic highway safety plan, which a lot of this information is getting pulled from. So kind of diving right into the hottest topic based on the survey. So this slide right now is just an overview of the calendar year data involving pedestrians. So the yellow color is the fatalities that are occurring during that specific year. And then the blue is the serious injury crashes involving a pedestrian. From a pure fatality standpoint, knowing that the chart tails off at 2021, in 2022, we had 32 pedestrian fatalities. And then in 2023, we had 28 pedestrian fatalities. Through the pedestrian action plan, there was efforts with regards to kind of developing heat maps, which is available through the interactive link that's provided on the slide. But it gives you a little bit of understanding of where pedestrian crashes are occurring from a county level. So in the Newcastle County area, the majority of your crashes are in an urban area, and the majority are north of the C&D Canal. For Kent County, again, it's still in the higher percentage with 84% in that urban condition. But now based on some of the heat maps, you could start seeing more of the municipal settings that exist in Kent County. While Sussex County, you start getting into more of a closer split between urban and rural conditions. It's a 60-40 split, but again, the interactive map allows you to get heat maps on where the pedestrian crashes are occurring. So diving into the 2023 data, which can help meet the criteria of the council's requirement with sharing the quarterly data. We were able to, of the 28 pedestrian fatalities, the next few slides kind of divvy up like how many crashes are occurring in each of those quarters, where the counties are, and then as we progress through the council efforts and the reporting, it can then be compared to past trends. So that sim data is available and broken up by classification, not by county, but this is just statewide data. So you can see that the majority of crashes close to 50%, just under 50% are occurring on your principal arterial roadways, so that's your Route 13s, your Route 40s. So the common thing is it's a multi-lane divided condition with some higher speeds. The other piece of information from the data is now time of day. Again, between all 28 crashes, the majority are occurring in that nighttime period. So when we start thinking about the vulnerable road user that a pedestrian is, what kind of tools or countermeasures could be applied in that condition to be more visible for the motorist, but as well as the pedestrian.
It's okay, all right. So I think that wraps it up for Peter, but are there any quick questions for Peter, like for clarification from our council members?
Just clarify, you consider bicyclists as pedestrians in this or just? completely
No, it
pedestrians?
is just pedestrians. A bicycle is a vulnerable road user, but it's not captured as a pedestrian.
Thank you. Others? Feel free to, your council member, feel free to type in on the chat online too. We can always jump back if we need, if need be.
Yeah, that would be fantastic if you could put it in the chat, just because of the sound. So,
yeah.
Okay.
All right. So after that, we'd like to just give you a quick snapshot at various things that we already have underway at DelDOT to address pedestrian safety. So I'll just kind of read through the list here for you all, and we can give you more information in the future if you'd like to hear more about these programs. We could probably do a whole hour-long presentation on all these things. So this is going to be a really quick and dirty introduction to some of the things that we have going on here. One of the things is we've put together a design guide for complete streets, taking into account, all users of the streets and all different functions of them. We have a Trails and Pathways program that we are implementing projects through. We also do ADA self-assessment, and we have a plan for doing some transition updates. We have developed the Delaware Strategic Highway Safety Plan, and in that document, we have a whole focus area on pedestrian safety. We also have the Transportation Alternatives Program, where we do sidewalk projects that enhance safety for pedestrians as they use the sidewalks and things like crosswalks and also bike trails through that as well. We have the Pedestrian Access Routes programs that helps with connectivity. So folks have, the complete streets to walk through and don't have any gaps in sidewalks or ramps and things like that. We're also working to promote land use and transportation facilities that can improve connectivity through all these programs. And then we're also conducting pedestrian safety audits as well. And then just to give you an idea where we're going with all this in the future, so we're adding on to this, we'll be working to finalize the pedestrian action plan, which is something we've been working hard on too, and we'll go into more detail about that. I'll hand it over in just a second, but emerging priorities that are coming out of that for us to tackle in the near future will be to implement that complete streets design guide that I mentioned earlier. Also updating our Safe Routes to Schools materials. Safe Routes to Schools is providing safe places for children to walk to school or bike to school. So telling them how to get there safely and the route they can take, or educating some of the school administrators about this program so they can get grants to improve the safety for kids. Also increasing the number of pilot projects that we're doing to enhance pedestrian safety, really getting out information about the before and after studies so we know what works and doesn't work in the future, and also doing pedestrian safety audits with that. We also would like to do more assistance to local governments to help them find funding to do some pedestrian safety projects. Then we're also planning to enhance our outreach and public education for pedestrian safety awareness. We have a great program that goes on every October to really get materials that are light reflective out to pedestrians and other safety educational things to them so they know how to safely walk on the highways or at nighttime. And then we'd also like to explore more options for consolidating all the pedestrian safety activities that we do at the agency, maybe under one roof, so we can really get things done and be more efficient with that. So I think I'm turning it over to give more details about the pedestrian action plan over to Angie Hernandez from JMT. She's our consultant that has been writing this document for us, so she knows it really well. And I'm gonna let her talk about what we've done so far.
Thanks, Kelly. So like Kelly mentioned, we've been in process of updating this plan for about a year now. The point of it is we've broken it into different achievable kind of steps. So there's phases that I'm going to talk about here. Phase one has wrapped up. So as Kelly was presenting, there's a lot of things that DelDOT's already doing for pedestrians, whether it be through various programs for building projects and planning for projects, providing funding for municipalities. There's a lot that DelDOT's already doing, and almost all of the staff is working in pedestrian activities at some step in their job. So we spent some time working internally with all kinds of different people across the department to talk about what are we doing, what do we want to do more of, what are we doing really good, where do we need to improve. So we had pulled everything together of what was already happening in the department, and we put that all into the plan so that we just kind of figured out where we were, where were we at as a snapshot in time, what we were actively doing. We also started looking at some pedestrian crash cluster mapping, very high level, kind of what Peter was showing you. I will say that this presentation will be available afterwards with all those links, and we can get you guys access to that. And we developed the project website. So the project website has a lot of really good information in it, and that's been our hub for our interactions with the public as well. So we're reaching out to the public as well during phase one. I'll talk some about the outreach process in a later slide. We're in phase two now, where we have consolidated everything that's already going on. There is a plan document already online that you can review at any time that shows what DelDOT's been up to since the last pedestrian action plan, which was in 2007. So a lot has changed between now and 2007. Phase two, I mentioned that internal working group. We're really kind of putting our heads together right now, saying, how do we get better? What else can we do differently? And that was the emergent priorities that Kelly was talking about. There's a lot that we're kind of charging ahead with, but this committee is forming at a really opportunistic time because none of that is set in stone yet. So lots of opportunities for you all to provide some input into that as well, as we're still going through this process to really finalize where do we put the most of our efforts towards, where are we going to get the most return on our efforts there. So that's what's going on now. We did do some additional public outreach as well through phase two. You'll see public outreach is a theme. We're trying to involve the community in this process along the way, bring them along with us, talk with them, meet with them where they are, and talk about the concerns that they have. We're anticipating phase three will be kind of the final wrap up of everything, putting this whole plan document into one place, having the implementation plan ready to go, and also having performance measures so that we can measure our success and make sure we're staying on track with it. So that's where we're going with the ped action plan. Again, I mentioned the outreach. So we have engaged with over 150 people. This is just kind of a rough estimate. We've had a survey, we've had booths, we've had kind of small listening sessions where we've gone to different community organizations to try to kind of catch people where they are. And we have targeted some high crash area as part of that. So places that have had a history of pedestrian safety concerns and issues. We've got out there. So Maria's still in the room. She volunteered to jump on some buses, and she went around some transit centers, bus stops, rode the bus routes, and really connected with people that are using transit as well, because they are pedestrians. They don't just appear and jump on a bus. They are walking at the beginning and end of their trips. So like I said, we've done a lot of different events around the state. We're planning to do some more outreach as well. So keeping on moving around the state and talking with people. We're also trying to engage online, giving everybody kind of a medium to reach us. We know we can't reach everybody. We can't have a meeting everywhere with every group, but we are trying to increase our participation from the public. So in addition to the surveys that we've done, we also have this online interactive map, which again, there's a link in here. When you get the presentation after today, you'll be able to click that link and go right to the map, which is hosted on the Pedestrian Action Plan website. What you can do here is you can view that crash data that Peter was showing earlier. You can actually see the points themselves as where the crashes are happening. And then you can zoom in. And if you have a concern about that area, or you think that we really should have a sidewalk here, or I have a concern about this intersection, this is just a way for you to start dropping some data on areas that you see as issues in your communities or opportunities for better connectivity. So I want to just point out that map. DelDOT also has the report an issue concern tool, which we do get a lot of responses and reports about pedestrian issues through there. So a couple different avenues for the public to give us input. So of the survey that we had running from April until August of last year, we got about 134 survey responses. The thing that we're proud of how we have been able to reach people is that 80% of the people that took the survey said that they walked to meet their daily needs and access goods. So what that told us is that we've got people that are walking out of necessity. It's not your leisurely trail walkers, it's people that are actually walking to get around as transportation. So we are glad that we were able to connect with as many pedestrians, daily pedestrians as we did. Just a couple highlights here from what we learned from the survey. Simple question: do you have concerns in your community? And 56% of respondents said no, 44% said yes. So kind of a split. So we didn't get much besides, people are kind of feeling different ways about where they live. It's probably based on what community they live in. So we asked some questions about why don't they walk? What would they need to walk more? So some of the discouraging factors that people said of why they don't walk more often is that destinations are just too far away to walk to. There's not good pedestrian infrastructure to walk to those destinations, or the pedestrian infrastructure that's in place isn't in the best condition. People also cited having to cross roads where cars are driving too fast, which it also supports what Peter was showing us in some of the crash statistics. People don't want to cross multiple lanes of highway. So we asked the public about what more, what should we do more of, what would get you to walk more? So probably not very surprising, increasing the overall sidewalk pedestrian network, getting better connectivity, improving the crosswalks and crossings, getting traffic at a lower speed so that they feel more comfortable crossing these roadways, and increasing the separation between the roads and sidewalks. So wider buffers, they want more separation away from the roadways. They also cited improving access to parks. So Delaware has a lot of parks that have walking trails within them or different amenities that people want to enjoy, but there's not always a great way to walk to that park. So getting better connectivity to parks. And we did not ask anything about bikes. This is all about pedestrians, but we did get a variety of different comments about protected bike lanes. So just sharing it for transparency, but that's not the focus of the pedestrian action plan. Kelly was mentioning that DelDOT does a lot of ongoing constant outreach. So last year, we've got some statistics here that DelDOT was able to interact with over 4,565 people at 16 different events that were held around the state. There's a couple here listed on the slide that were kind of the big hitter events. And a lot of what DelDOT was doing, like Kelly mentioned, was trying to get actual safety materials out to people, getting those high visibility vests and backpacks and cups. Just different things that if someone is wearing that or carrying that at night, the retroreflectivity offers a higher opportunity that a car's headlights will see the pedestrian there. So it was really great to get out and get people these materials, and people did want to take them. So we hope they use them as well.
So that wraps up Angie's presentation about the pedestrian action plan. Does anyone have a quick question for her about that? Okay, well, we'll keep moving forward, but yeah, I was at some of those outreach events. It was really great to interact with folks and hear how they're actually moving about and walking to work every day or walking to the bus stop. And this was really important for them to get some of those materials. So that was great feedback. So hearing that, what we've been doing at DelDOT, I want to share a little bit about what we think might be your role on the council. Some of these things come from being laid out in the legislation that establishes this group. Other things we kind of came up with through our action plan, and there's certainly more things that we can add to this list based on your backgrounds and resources that you have available as well. So this can be evolving, but what we think might be your role in this group is going to be advising DelDOT by helping us to identify gaps in the pedestrian system across the state. Suggesting ideas for improvements to our design practices or our policies that we have in place for addressing pedestrian safety. Also reviewing traffic rules that supports the pedestrian safety, developing strategies for pedestrian safety education and awareness. If you have other ideas on how we can better do outreach or hit more people or other types of audiences, please let us know. Periodically reviewing and recommending things to us about the pedestrian action plan as we move forward on that. We'll certainly share those drafts with you for comment. Also helping to assist us with our pedestrian safety events. If you're interested in getting out there and talking to folks and interacting with people about pedestrian safety, please come join us. We'll also have quarterly reports of the pedestrian fatalities to share with you all, so you can always give us feedback on that as well. And then we'll also have an annual report that's submitted about the council's activities, and there'll be recommendations for pedestrian safety in that as well.
And thank you, Kelly. And if I can just add, I think a huge part of this pedestrian council and why the council has so many members, I think it's going to be a great opportunity to pull expertise and knowledge from all of your departments, all of your expertise, your personal experiences to really help collectively. I mean, this specifically is advising DelDOT, but I do think that keeping those lines of communication, sharing, what has worked well for other departments, what has not worked well, what you see as emerging trends and stuff. That's really what I think the purpose of this council is to knowledge share and make our infrastructure more productive, more central, more targeted to where the pedestrians are. So we look forward to working with you all on that.
Thank you for adding that. Yeah. All right, so just some basic logistics about how the Pedestrian Council is going to operate, so you know what we're doing moving forward. Each of the council members will have a 2-year term limit, and then we'll go through the process of finding a replacement for yourselves.
If you want, you can always continue on.
Yeah,
please do.
We're not kicking you out. And then you'll serve until we do find a replacement. So we always have somebody in that designated role from the legislature. There's 4 meetings required a year. You can always add more if necessary, but we know that you are all very busy. So if we do need to add extra ones, it might be for something like a subcommittee's work, if we want to take actions or discuss things further in between some of the meetings, and then have that go to a little work group that we can do those things at, and then present that back to the group. We'll continue to hold these meetings both virtually and in person. We're going to try to find some better technology. It's going to work great next time. Yeah, this is not our main public conference room, so that's actually under construction right now. So hopefully it'll be ship shape when we move back over there in April. And then I'll be your point of contact for everything about the council. So please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions at all or concerns about what we're doing. I'll be sending out the emails. I'm really sorry to clog up your inbox. I'm going to try to switch over to a more fancy email maybe in the future, like MailChimp or Constant Contact or something. So it's easier to read and the content comes right through. So I'll be in touch about that if I need to. But yeah, please let me know if you have any questions moving forward. Another bit of the logistics that we have to work on is electing the chair for the council to help us, keep things moving forward and focus on our task at hand. And we actually have Brad Eby, who's one of our deputy attorney generals from DelDOT here to kind of cover that process for us. So thanks, Brad.
Kelly, Brad Eby, I'm with the Department of Justice, and DelDOT is my client. And the Department of Justice Civil Division typically appoints a DAG to assist different councils. There's a whole number of councils throughout the state. I also assist the Bicycle Council, and what my role would be to make sure that the chairperson runs the meeting according to the proper procedures, complies with the Freedom of Information Act, and doesn't run afoul of just running the meeting in an orderly fashion. And so at the next meeting, the council, the 17 members, elect a chairperson who will serve as the person to run the meetings. And so nominations can be taken from council members and others for a chair. Now, the chair has to be one of the 17 council members or their designee. And once the nominations are made and then seconded by one of the council members and the second is move forward, then there's an election and the council members vote on the chair. And that chairperson then serves until the next chair was elected. So we'll have a fun election at the next meeting.
And technology is going to work great for it, so we have no trouble. But yeah, we'll take nominations anytime after this meeting. So you can send me a name, you can send me your own name. I'll probably ask you for a short bio and then send those out to everybody to review. And then we'll just take those nominations up until we hold that vote. So. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, additionally, there's the ability of the council to form subcommittees. So if there's a certain subject area that you really want to dig into, certain actions that we want to take based on the recommendations or any goals that we put together, we could form those. I think that we'll work with the chair to make those happen. So you are not required to be a council member if you were on the subcommittee. So there's an outside expert that we might want to bring in. That might be a way to do that. We also have to make sure that we satisfy quorum requirements. So we have to have more than half of the council members attending, especially I think it's for voting, or is it all times? We always need a quorum to attend.
For voting.
For voting.
Yeah, we can hold meetings if it's not quorum, but we can't vote on anything.
Not recording this. I had another meeting.
Okay. There's a great one. So is there any questions about that? Okay, we keep moving forward. We do have a few minutes to take any public comments. If there's members of the public online, it is very quiet in this room, so we might not be able to hear you. But if you would like to make a comment, we will certainly take it. You can also put it in the chat or put it in the question bar. But if you do want to make a comment, just please try to limit yourself to about 3 minutes so we can fit everybody in, because we're already a little bit over time for our meeting today. So is there anyone that has a comment? I don't know. Angie, if you can see on the Zoom. Any other hands raised?
Are there any comments in the room?
No
All right.
comments in the room, and we're not seeing any chat or question comments, so.
Linda has her hand up still.
Yeah. Hey, Linda, your hand is up. Is that from before? I just want to make sure that everything's
Yes, that
good.
was from before. Sorry.
Okay,
No
all right,
problem.
great.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap up for today, but before I dismiss you all, I just want to let you know that we'll be scheduling the next council meeting in about 3 months, so we have them quarterly. So that puts us about the middle of April. About the week of April 24th would be the next following Wednesday that we would try to kind of aim for. But because there wasn't, some of the council members weren't able to attend today because it's a Wednesday and they have a lot going on, I think what we'll do is send out a doodle poll. If you're not familiar with that, you just click on the link and you fill it out with your availability, and I'll try to say like morning, afternoon, night, something like that, just so it's general. And then you can say what days of the week you're available, and we'll go with the day that the most people can meet that time. So I'll send that out. We'll be working on the agenda for that meeting. In the meantime, I think what we'll try to do is keep going with sharing information from DelDOT that you've requested on the member survey, but certainly if there's any other things that you might like to hear about, and we can look at that and hopefully bring in some outside speakers as well, or DelDOT speakers as well on those things. And then maybe in the near future, we'll be also asking our council members if you'd like to share some things about what you have going on at your own organizations and agencies. I think, sharing what you're all doing will help us to better partner or collaborate or coordinate on some of the projects that we have going on too. Just trying to see if there's anything else I wanted to mention. All of this, the presentation today, the agenda, we'll have meeting minutes, and then this presentation is also being recorded. So we'll have that all up on our website very soon. And once that gets up there, I'll email you all to say, hey, it's up there. You can go look at it now. Anything else? No?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, well, we'll wrap up, but thank you all for taking the time to be with us today. Thank you for bearing with us for the technology issues. Thank you for hanging in there. And hope to see you soon. Get home safe.
Thank you, everyone.